so starting off on the road. There's an older couple in the campsite next to me, so I didn't want to start just talking to myself randomly at 6:30 a.m. and they just wake up like, what the hell is this guy doing? They're also French, so they'd be like, what is this American doing? Something like that. So we're starting off on the road. Like I said, heading from Mazieddin Junction all the way up to Watson Lake. I think it's another like 600 plus kilometer day, 400 plus mile day for those of you who are still living in the US times. I've advanced. I'm a Canadian now, so now I'm all metric, baby, until I get to Alaska, and then I'll revert. But I think the drive should be pretty simple. One of the things that I've noticed yesterday is I'm running into some chain issues, and I was looking at what could possibly be causing it yesterday, and I couldn't make heads or tails of it. I'm not sure if it's like a chain linkage thing or if it's an alignment thing on the rear, but at one specific point when a couple of links reach the front sprocket, the chain gets much tighter, like probably half an inch of chain slack tighter, which is making a kind of a impact on power delivery and things like that. So I'm gonna try and solve that over the next few days, whether it be tinkering around the alignment or maybe just flushing the rollers out with a bunch of WD-40, because that seemed to actually help this morning. So keep you updated on that. It is a little mini game of a thing that I'm gonna have to update, and I'll probably have to adjust chain tension on a daily basis then, just to make sure it doesn't get too far out of spec. Right now it doesn't feel too bad, and especially at speed, you don't even notice it. But once you start getting down to like, I don't know, 30 kilometers an hour, 40 kilometers an hour, you can actually hear it as well. It'll be like a rum, 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 rum on the sprocket. So yeah, just something to watch out for. I'm not too concerned about it. I'm sure it'll last probably the rest of the trip, but another cool thing to keep in the back of my mind and get me real stressed out. But this trip isn't about stress, baby. It's all about them views, which are obscured from trees, but I'm sure that you've been able to see them just like I have been. Right back in there. BC is beautiful country. Or British Columbia. I like to think the former. Yeah, definitely the former. Alright, I might have to make some small adjustments to my route that I had planned. So I had stopped off on the side of the road back there to adjust wheel alignment, which I think is actually the culprit of my chain tension issue, because I just did a little bit of fiddling and it feels much better now than it used to. So I'll just have to definitely keep checking up on that. But the important thing is the couple that I talked to, who are from Ann Arbor, Michigan, of all places, check that out, told me that the route going to Alaska, which I had intended to take, is extremely rough at the moment. To go 150 kilometers, to go 350 kilometers, apparently some people with RVs, mind you, were reporting around a 10-hour drive. So there is an alternative way to get into Alaska, which I think I might take then, which is the northern route. Apparently that one's going to be a lot clearer of any sort of hassle. And then also, gosh, look at this. Holy cow. Let me just soak this in for a second. Wow. So anyway, we're gonna go on the northern route. I have to open up my map when we get to probably the next area, and it'll probably I'll take the time then to show you the plan and how we're getting up there. Good Lord, this place is beautiful. Man, low-hanging clouds are just mwah, chef's kiss. Look at that. Also, I was just kind of thinking back on the chances of meeting that couple and them telling me to go on a different route west than what I was planning. Like, I had just randomly decided to pull over in that rest area. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do a little bit of adjusting on this chain right now. I'm still glad I did. And then in the exact amount of time that it took me to do that chain and then start putting my gear back on, they pull up right when I start putting my gear back on, and then I can have that conversation. It's insane, right? Like, I'm not really a higher power kind of person, but I swear the more situations I come across like that in life, the more it's like, well, maybe there is some kind of plan though, you know what I mean? Maybe we're all on rails. This has all been planned out. I don't know. What the hell am I talking about? This guy is trying to talk about reality. Get the hell out of here. Keep riding your motorcycle, baby. Get them thoughts out of your brain. And just because I keep thinking while I'm riding, that kind of spurs into the whole, you know, multi-universes thing. Like, maybe there's a universe somewhere where I didn't drink coffee this morning, so then I didn't pull over and have, you know, that conversation with that couple. See, I don't think that's even real, right? Like, there can't be multiple situations or multiple realities because I did one minor thing different. Because I would have done the exact same thing every single day, or in every single reality, no matter what. You know, given the exact same environmental influences, I would have had coffee this morning no matter what. There is no, I didn't make coffee this morning. You know what I mean? I don't know. So like in every single situation, right? I would have had that conversation with that couple today. And it's the same thing with them, right? Like, let's say they didn't eat breakfast to get out on the road early or something like that. In every single situation, they would have done that. Fun to think about. I think, at least. As I want to look around and take everything in, I definitely have to play the game of dodge the pothole now, because they are big and they are deep. Luckily I'm on a motorcycle, so I don't have to work too hard to get my tire trail out of the way of these holes, but they are starting to pop up just about every few hundred feet. Maybe I could sneak one real quick. Huh. Wow. Okay. Alright, there actually aren't that many here. So that's nice. For now. I was just kind of riding along and suddenly this guy emerged from the clouds. Crazy. It's like I've been going to multiple shows, like multiple plays or operas, and the clouds are just like curtains that are being pulled back and being like, look at this! Hey, what do you think about that? I think that it's pretty neat. Honestly, I think it's really neat. Oh, would you look at this? Even the gas stations come with a view. Well, the roads are getting worse and the weather is getting colder, which must mean we're getting close to Alaska, right? Ooh, oh gosh. Maximum 70, maximum 50. What is going on? There must be a flagger or something up ahead. Yep. Starting to get some pretty dark looking clouds forming. Winds howling. That peak right there is taking up all the sunlight right now. Alright, construction zone number 2. To Anchorage! Woo! I was talking with the traffic controller back there at the construction site, and they said that those guys are from Texas going all the way up to Anchorage, and they're riding for cancer and fundraising for it. They've raised over $500,000 so far. How cool is that? You just ride a bike and people pay you money. Wow. Ah! God, I should put my visor down when I pass trucks. You know, maybe I should do a fundraiser. Except I don't know if I could do it for anything noble like cancer or anything like that. What about like college debt? I should have marketed this trip as like some sort of charity, because man, I'd be swimming in it when I got back. That'd be sick. I know they don't. I know the bike riders that I talked about earlier, they don't get a cent. They're raising it for charity. Nah, I get that. It's just very funny, like the idea of going on a trip and having people pay you. It's being like, I need help with my crippling addiction to new technology and really good food, please. And there are so many of them. Let's go! Beep, beep, beep. Now, kind of just blowing past some cyclists and blowing my horn and saying to let's go with my fist like this. No, that could only be perceived as positive, right? Right? My intention was there, and that is all that matters. And how it is perceived, well, that's their problem. So I just stopped off in Dee's Lake to grab some lunch right here. I found this map on the way up, so I thought, you know, why don't I just use this to update you guys? So we started off down here in Mazayden Junction, and we're headed up here to Watson Lake. Now, in Dee's Nuts Lake, I actually met a couple of bikers from Minnesota. Now these guys are back from a trip very similar to what I was doing, with the exception that instead of going to Prudhoe Bay, Dead Horse, which was my destination, I use the word was because they have thoroughly convinced me to instead do the run up to Tuck, which is basically the Canadian version of Prudhoe Bay. This road is along the same construction as Prudhoe Bay, but you can actually go to the Arctic Ocean in Tuck, as opposed to Prudhoe Bay, where you'd have to rent a service that would taxi you through the oil field that sits between the city of Dead Horse and then the actual Arctic Ocean itself. So I figure, you know what? Let's just do it. That's really what I'm going up to Prudhoe Bay for anyway, so let's just, you know, I was going to say kill two birds with one stone, but I'm not really sure what two birds those are. But at least we can go up to the Arctic Ocean that way, and I don't have to be ferried. So I think that's going to be the plan. So Watson Lake is where we're staying tonight. I'm going to go west to Whitehorse, and then from Whitehorse, instead of going west, we're going to go north. And I think once, I don't know, maybe around lunchtime tomorrow, I'll open up a map and show you exactly what I have planned. But I think a lot of the logistics of this I'm going to have to look at tonight in terms of figuring out where I can stay, where there'll be Wi-Fi and things like that, so I can work on and upload videos as I'm doing this. But that makes me real excited. I also got some inside information on a motorcycle tire guy in Fairbanks and a few routes to take, which I think are going to be very cool. So without further ado, I will continue on my trek, but I just wanted to give you that little update at the Rabid Grizzly sign here on Highway 37. I'm really excited because this is kind of the thing I wanted to do with this trip, which is not have it completely concrete, but kind of as I go along, maybe make little tweaks here and there. Admittedly, this is a pretty big tweak, but I'm super stoked, in case you can't tell by my energy right now, to get up to Tuk. I got to use a couple ferries as well to go across some rivers, and it's going to be a great time. You'll see. So don't worry about the planning or anything. Leave that to me. I'll figure that out. In the meanwhile, let's just get on it and get to Watson Lake, you know? What do you think? What do you think, Versus? Should we go? I think that's a yes. Honestly, days like today always make me feel so good. Things just come together. I don't know how or why, but today in particular, things have just all kind of come together. I got a new route that, I'll be honest, I'm more excited about than the one I had planned. My chain is fixed, and all the noise and resistance that I felt from before is gone. My bike is tracking super straight. Engine sounds perfect, oil is perfect, coolant's perfect. The weather's amazing, the landscape is perfect. Makes you happy. can only mean that the struggle is coming. Some little hand clouds up there giving the mountains little kisses. Kiss, kiss, kiss.